Okay, guys, y'all ready? Okay, here we go. I call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, October 18, 2021 at 6 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve you during this evening's meeting of the Aransas Pass City Council. We thank you for the opportunity to address the citizens who are here and the citizens on the TV screen. We pray that you guide us as far as making correct decisions that serve the citizens of this community, as well as serving everyone that is aware of the meeting going on. You do so much for the city, and with your help, we've accomplished so much. We thank you for those accomplishments. We ask these things in your name, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. I'll pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we're going to go to presentation and proclamations, which is a quarterly update on collections of municipal court fees and fines with Steven Salcedo from Lineberger Law Firm.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Thank you for having me here today and city staff. What I have today is another quarterly report on our collection activities for municipal court. Let me go ahead and pass this around. So what you have before you tonight is a delinquent municipal court collections of what we've done over the last quarter. This covers the period of July 1st through September 30th. And as you can see from this report, over this period we sent out 1,352 letters. Of those, through our skip tracing computer services, we were able to find 272 individuals who had the wrong address on their citation. You can see we had 385 phone calls outgoing and 15 ingoing. Over this last quarter assigned to us, this quarter has been a little over $56,000, and we collected this quarter $25,330. Just as a reminder to the council, usually our collections aren't so much on what we've been assigned this quarter. Usually it's a quarter before, and we continue to collect all amounts that are assigned to us. So if something wasn't collected, if something was assigned to us a year ago, we're still making phone calls in that amount. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Any questions? Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to board and commission appointments, which is appointment of chairman to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I appoint Herb Lancaster to that spot. Now, the favor of the council.
I'll second.
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
no?
Y'all
Wait.
make the motion, y'all second. I'm just making a recommendation.
Oh, you're making a recommendation. Well, I
Mhm.
seconded the recommendation.
That's what I was told.
Oh, well, I make a motion to accept Herb Lancaster as the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're going to go to the consent agenda. All of the following items in the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be
No separate discussion of this item unless a council member so requests. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the regular meeting of September 7th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, I'm gonna open up public hearing for case number 2110-01, which is public hearing on request for right-of-way closure abandonment by Bay Breeze Development, LP, being a 7,200 square foot, 0.165 acre tract of land being out of and part of the 40-foot unimproved right-of-way northeast of farm lots 3 and 4, land block 75 of the TP McCampbell subdivision, according to the establishment map or plat thereof as recorded in envelope 11, page 21 and 22 of the map records, San Patricio County, Texas.
Yes, so this is a right-of-way closing, an abandonment, and it is part of the Harbor Heights project, and it connects with the phase 3 of the project. Previously, there was this issue of the neighborhood subdivision to the west, not wanting the subdivision to connect the street through their neighborhood to 1069. So they came out to say that they don't want the connection. Because of that, they've decided to go ahead and close that portion of the street. And now, what we have now is that that portion of the street is being closed. So that is the idea, to close that portion. In actual fact, it connects up to Avenue A, but that portion is not improved. It's unimproved street. So it's currently a paper street, but on the plat, it has to be closed to be part of the project. That is the phase 3, and that is what is before you now.
It's my understanding that this, if it was a street, it would connect to McClung.
Yes, it looks as if it will get straight into and crosses Avenue A and connect to McClung. Yeah.
That would be a good second, there'd be a better traffic flow,
Connectivity.
connectivity.
Yeah.
I know that the subdivision behind where we're talking about is county.
Right.
I know it's all county.
Mhm.
How far of a distance is it, do you know, from Avenue A
Mhm.
to the 3rd Street
It will be
blacktop, where the blacktop is at
Oh.
3rd Street?
Oh, I don't.
Because there's nothing there, it's
Right.
just
That. Yeah.
open land.
I don't have the exact, but I can do that calculation for you. In actual fact, this is just a very first portion. The rest of it toward Avenue A will come into not 2 weeks' time, but soon. It's going to be annexed.
Right.
Currently, the one we are closing now is part of the phase 3, so it is already annexed. The rest of it toward Avenue A is not currently annexed, and we are working on it to get it done, and so it will come before you to close that portion also after it is annexed into the city.
Can you explain again, what's the reason for doing this, for closing? Or,
Oh, it's, do you have the other one? No, okay. No. There is, currently this project, the
phase 3?
Harbor Heights,
Mhm.
there is this phase 3 of it. The phase 3 to the north of it has a portion that covers unimproved street.
Okay.
It's not constructed. It's currently a paper street. And so they want to close that portion and make it part off. It's just about 20 feet to add to the current Phase 3 subdivision, because it's not a street that is projected to be used, so they want to close it.
But I seem to see that differently, because we are, huh?
Should be.
Oh. Because I do see us as a growing community, and this neighborhood is growing, and it would alleviate traffic within that subdivision, and it would give better flow. It would direct traffic off of Avenue A that goes to the high school, that goes to Charlie Marshall and the middle school. It would give more ways to flow traffic.
Yeah. So which one are you talking about? From
Avenue
the whole
A.
east or from the Hogan Homes subdivision? Are you talking of traffic?
I'm talking about, I think the city should build out the entire street from Avenue A to Third Street, because Third Street's counting.
You know, that neighborhood subdivision over there, they were worried that this Hogan Home subdivision, if it gets built out, they might use that street to connect, their internal street to connect the Third Street to 1060. They did not want that anyway. So all this traffic that will generate from the Hogan Homes will have to connect through Avenue A and go, rather than
Right.
connecting over there.
That if we develop the street, they would have alternate choices. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
but-
all be funneling onto Avenue A.
But I guess when we were annexing the Phase 3 and stuff like it came up, and you agreed that they should not connect to that Third Street over there. So that is,
So I remember we had some
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, there was a lot of people here.
mhm.
Well, you weren't here on the
No, I was
council.
sitting right there.
I've slept,
But-
I've slept since
They
then.
were opposing the traffic to go through Third Street.
Right,
Yes, and I think this is what you're trying to convey to us, correct?
correct.
That they didn't
So
want-
that
What
means-
you're looking at, what you're saying is that's not what they wanted the city to do, is to allow it to open.
No,
all the
I
way
was
to the
saying,
back.
I don't know about the Third Street people. I was just saying, I think I think it would alleviate traffic
Yeah.
issues coming in and out of that subdivision.
So
And
because
it would give us another street.
But
Even
that's
if
what
it's
the
not open to
resident-
Third Street.
Huh?
Even if it's not open all the way through Third Street, but to come back to Avenue A. 'Cause I don't know, I think I'm missing it here, because we're
Yeah, I'm
talking
just
about
trying-
having the street. This one is to go from Avenue A and it meets up to Third Street?
That's what we.
It
Yeah.
does.
They want to close it.
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, okay.
But they want to, if we close that, then that road will never, it'll never happen.
right. That means you cannot pin through to Avenue A from Third Street. I guess that connection was killed when that neighborhood came against connecting that Hogan Home subdivision to Third Street. That is why they are coming forward to make use of this unimproved street to be part of their subdivision.
So this new one
Hogan
come
Homes.
out on McClung.
Correct.
Have you looked at, Eric, have you looked at this, and do you think there'll be any kind of major traffic problems with this proposal coming out onto McClung?
So we're talking, I'm trying to get my tech here
It's
connected.
that,
so I
that
don't-
Harbor Heights subdivision where they
Yes.
wanna put the second entrance coming out on McClung.
Well, the second entrance, how we had agreed on it last time, was put on Avenue A. There were gonna be two entrances in and out on Avenue A. And they were gonna forego the Third Street one because there was
A
some
lot of
problems with that. That's
Opposition.
how I do recall that one. As far as coming out on McClung,
That's what I
that
thought.
that would be awesome too, but I don't know that had been discussed the last time we were discussing.
Yeah,
where
that's
to
why I'm a
punch
little
through.
confused, cause he's saying McClung, and I remember us talking about two of them coming out on Avenue A.
And they've already built the mouths,
Yeah.
the mouth into that second one off of Avenue A. They just haven't looped it around yet. They haven't gotten to that part yet.
Well, there is no McClung on the west side.
That's
So
true.
we're saying McClung,
It's on the east.
but there is no
Yeah.
street on the other side.
So
If we were to
right
extend
there.
McClung,
If you look at the aerial map, you see Avenue A, and then McClung runs to Avenue A, and it looks as if that paper street portion, if you see the arrow, the red portion is where we are beginning to close today. And so if we close that portion, we will later on come in and request to close the rest to Avenue A. I guess if you want to open it up, then we will have to let that neighborhood to the east subdivision know that you have changed your mind or decision.
did we vote on something? Did we put something in writing? Did we just say, what was the action? Was there an action on that?
I was not part of it, but based on the agreements that they were not proposing that any subdivision link toward that area should
Well, I
not be.
think we need to know, Gary, was there a written agreement? Did we,
I know no written
did we just said, okay, we won't build this road ever, or?
Again, I know no written agreement. We're gonna have to research that to find out. I know no such legislative action on this.
So, this whole item is brought before us by Hogan Homes, or why? or-
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And they want the city to abandon the right-of-way for what reason? What-
So it becomes part of their subdivision.
Oh,
For phase three?
Yeah, this is phase 3, but in terms of land,
'Cause phase three is towards, the north side of McClung, right?
yeah, can you go to the next, please?
Yeah.
Slide.
Yeah, it's not-
Okay.
not- Yeah, the
So-
north side of McClung,
Right,
the undeveloped
right,
McClung.
undeveloped, yeah. So this is what is showing.
so they
On
would
the
be
top.
able to build 8 more homes or so
Yeah.
in that area.
Uh-huh.
So at this point, what we have to do is weigh what the benefits are to the city by closing that area off and never having a through street. That's where we are.
Do you recall?
I guess the circulation within, if you close it, then the concentration will be within the Hogan Home subdivision. And
exactly.
now they're gonna request, they'll have already done the second entrance on top over there.
Right, there's
The area.
there's two
So-
entrances on Avenue A, and with
Right.
that many homes, there probably should be, but there's
Right.
no reason, well, that's my opinion, I think it should be a through street. We need more streets, we need more improved streets.
I think we need to do, because the residents on Third
Right.
Street and that we're here
Right.
complaining,
Right.
against the fact that there could be a street going through them,
Right.
and they didn't want that because that was going to add more to their neighborhood. What I
Mhm.
think we need to do is, what did we do at
Yeah.
that time? Was that part of the agreement that we gave to Hogan Homes and to that neighborhood, that we would not,
Yeah,
permit
we
them to
need-
go through a
We need to
street
know
through
exactly
there?
what was said and done, and.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, that, so they can't utilize that street, cause that's the subdivision on the south side of it, where
Mhm.
McClung, the unimproved McClung Street.
Mhm.
Can't they cut a spot to go from the streets from inside that subdivision into that one, to have a different out, not just that one, or is it two of them right there? Cause I only see one,
There's
on
two.
that
There's two of
phase
them.
three. Unless I'm not seeing right.
You-
I
you-
don't see none going out the north side of it.
You're talking of the
Which is-
unimproved portion?
No, sir, okay, what's the next street on the corner? On the
Where?
north side of it. On the north side of McClung, on phase 3.
Oh,
The one that goes to Charlie Marshall. What's the name of that street?
McMullen.
McMullen? Is that street that's up there?
No,
No,
no.
that's like,
Avenue
there's
A.
nothing there.
So that's not even.
If
up to it.
McClung was to be extended,
Right.
that's where it would go.
it will connect
And it
it.
would meet up to Third Street. Or you could,
To me,
yeah,
if we decide to develop it, it means we will give access to anybody within this subdivision or through Avenue A, and they will run through Third Street, and that neighborhood over there is gonna complain anyway. I don't know whether there was a signed agreement, but that's what I know, that the city agreed that they will not let the overflow of traffic within the subdivision go through that to connect 1069. So,
well, I think Vicky's right. I think we need to know, we need to get some clarification.
So if I remember correctly, the whole reason that whole discussion came up was originally the neighborhood had that as a second entrance because they had so many homes. And that area that was back there, the Third Street or whatever, did not want to do that. So as an option, we moved that second location because they needed 2 entrances into that neighborhood for fire protection. That's why, but I don't know if there was actually anything saying, oh, we won't do anything. It was just, we were looking for a way, an alternate means to put 2 entrances into that neighborhood. And so that you got the 2, you don't see the second one, but there's 2 entrances now off of Avenue A. But there's
Right.
nothing like really for the back of it, but.
There's one between DeBerry and McClung.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm. That was the whole purpose. That whole discussion came up with having 2 entrances into the neighborhood because of fire protection. Which I'll take more entrances all day long.
I just see it, I see it as an opportunity to have another through street, but I guess we need to get clarification on, from the minutes or whatever from that meeting.
I think, yeah, that's something that would help us make what we agree to with the residents on Third Street,
Right.
that neighborhood in that area, because I know they were here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They are in the county. I keep saying that. They are in the county.
Yeah, I agree with Vicky. We need to find out because I look at it a lot worse if you back out on your word than if you back up on a piece of paper. So I'd like to find some more information also.
Jose, what kind of time limit do we have on this? What kind of time limit do we have on this, or is there one? Because it could come up at the work session that we're having on the 25th.
yeah, we can do some more research into that and then put it on the 25th.
If the council's okay with that, then we can move it to a work session, which we'll talk about later.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
That'll just be a week from today,
Yeah, a week
right?
from
Be a
today,
week from
yeah.
today?
Would
Okay.
that be okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion to table,
Yeah, well, let me close the public. Any other questions? Why declare the public hearing closed, and we go to consider an act on ordinance abandoning a 0.165 acre tract of land being out of, and a part of 40-foot unimproved right-of-way northeast of farm lots 3 and 4, block 75 of the T.P. McCampbell subdivision according to the establishment map or plat thereof as recorded in envelope 11, page 21 and 22 of the map records, San Patricio County, Texas, as defined by meters and bounds and plat of said closure, both attached here to and providing a revision of said abandonment area to the abutting property owners.
I'll make a motion to table case number 2110-01.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna go to open public hearing to case number 2110-13, which is public hearing on rezoning request submitted by SEMA and Steve Incorporated from R10 Single Family Dwelling District to PD Plan Development District, and a preliminary plat review request by Urban Engineering to develop 14 acres into a housing development consisting of 53 single-family dwelling, San Patricio property, ID 72979 and 1032954, located on Rose Avenue in Aransas Pass, Texas. Legal description: 9.72 acres, PT of Tract 2, Burton and Danforth subdivision, and 4.29 acres, Wilkin Estates, Block 1, Lot 1R, Aransas Pass, Texas.
Yes, so this case was heard by the Planning and Zoning Commission last week on the 11th. And the recommendation from the Planning Department was to approve this project. The,
No, he's talking about the planning department.
please do not disturb. Let me start all over again, please.
What's that?
I want to start all over again.
Sure.
Okay.
On 11th of October, the Planning and Zoning Commission met on this case, and the recommendation from the Planning Department was to approve this application. However, after discussions from all sides, including the neighborhood residents, they concluded that it was not appropriate for such rezoning from R10 to a PD district due to some comments from the neighborhood, such as drainage system and street widening issues and other related comments that came in. And so they voted 7-0 all against this application. And so it has to come before you to make a final decision on this application, because the Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommending body. The Planning and Zoning Department still stands on its recommendation that you approve this application. And to overturn the decision of the P&Z's commission decision, you need 3/4 vote to overturn this application. If you have any further questions, I'm here. And the engineer for the applicant is also here, Urban Engineering, to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question? Since Roxanne, since one person is missing, the 3/4, would that make it then unanimous, or is it 3/4 of who are there now?
Pursuant to Section 211.006 of the Texas Local Government Code, it requires at least 3/4 of all of its members to override a recommendation. So it would be 3/4 of the total membership, not just the ones present.
Okay, so that would make it, you have to be unanimous then, if you want to overturn.
So, the planning staff recommended for us to approve. So what do you see addressing the concerns of the residents concerning the streets and the drainage?
In actual fact, the engineer for the project has had discussions with us
Okay.
and with our engineering department, and they see that the development that is going to come in will be able to hold that capacity. And therefore, there is no issues that we envisage that is going to happen. Technically,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, let me see that I'm understanding what this chart is that I have in front of me. So,
Can't get it.
I know, it took a long time for it to
I'm trying
download.
to right now.
So the cities recommends the lot width to be 50, and this subdivision plan is 50 on the lot width. The city provides a depth of 100. Is that so? 100?
Yes,
Okay.
so you want me to go through for you?
No, I got it.
Okay.
But this subdivision has lot depths of 120 to 125. So far, we're above par on the city. Floor area ratio is the same. Lot area, the city is 7,000 square feet, and these are going to be 7,200 to 8,400. That's bigger than a city lot.
Correct, correct.
Minimum off-street parking is 2. So it comes to the setbacks, which in front, the city is 10, this one's 25. So I'm still reading. So the biggest issue
Hold on, you will get the chance to talk.
here
okay?
is,
You will get the chance to talk.
so is the biggest issue here drainage? Or is it, yeah, drainage, sewage, utilities?
That is what the neighborhood came to talk about.
Right.
But I'm saying technically, our engineering department and the engineer for this project are in agreement that it's not a problem.
Well, it's a problem at the present time. It may not be a problem later on if they can do something to fix it. But at the present time, it is a definite problem. I live over there.
Nothing's ever a
When,
problem.
which problem you talking of?
Drainage,
Uh-huh.
it floods over there. So I'm just speaking from facts. I don't know what to tell you. So, I understand that as far as the subdivision lot sizes and stuff like that, to me, appears to be all good. So what I would expect to know now is before I could approve any of this, I would have to know exactly
Yeah.
what the engineering plans are for drainage, sewage, and
Can you
et cetera.
Which one?
Site plan?
This one?
Up. Right.
Or this
Okay.
one?
Okay, so if you look at the left corner, it has a detention pond over there.
Is that on Beasley?
And that is what is going to take,
Is that on Beasley? Is that what you're talking, on the left side, Beasley?
yeah, down there. So that is what is going to contain. Murph, can you come and explain the drainage system, please?
Public hearing open?
No, he's the engineer.
Okay, all right, yes.
Murph Hudson Urban Engineering, and yeah, the plan is to do a detention pond within the 14-acre property that would relieve, or not relieve, it would provide the drainage for this subdivision. One thing that everybody wants to talk about here, and what Jose said, you were looking at 7,000 square foot is what the city allows. That's not actually correct. What the current zoning on this property is R10, which allows 10,000, a minimum 10,000 square foot lots.
That's why I was questioning that. I didn't think that was
And
correct.
what we've asked for is to change that to a PUD, which allows a minimum lot size of 7,000 square foot. Our lot sizes that we're proposing are 72 to 8,400 square foot.
Thank you for clarifying that. Why does it say on here that the city reference building code is 7,000 square feet?
Because that's what the PUD requirement is.
Oh, that's
a
what the
minimum of 7,000.
PUD requirement
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
The PUD, not the zoning district.
Not the current R10 district,
So it's not technically wrong, but
correct.
But it is.
the PD.
Okay. All right, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
7,000 square foot, why wouldn't it be R7 then?
Well,
It could be R7A or B, but in speaking with the city, they recommended that we do PUD in lieu of that.
well, my question to you then while you're there would be, why change the zone at all? Why can't you just keep it at R10?
Well, we wanted to do 72 to 8,400 square foot lots. That's the main reason. We wanted smaller lots than 10,000 square foot.
Okay.
How many homes per lot?
I'm sorry?
How many homes per lot?
Just one.
So addressing, so what do you have in plan for addressing the sewer system that residents are complaining about? What's in, to
Well,
alleviate or to help
there is an
with that?
existing sewer system in Saunders that technically has capacity, but it has an infiltration issue. When it rains, you're getting rainwater into that system,
Mhm.
which makes it back up, and according to the residents here, they're gonna tell you backs up into their yards and et cetera.
Correct.
And I don't doubt that,
Mhm.
but that's not an issue that we've caused or are gonna bring on. The system as it is serves an area, and it's an 8-inch sewer line. That 8-inch sewer line should serve that area and have excess capacity. The fact that it doesn't, or that there's an existing problem there, is an infiltration issue which the city needs to address for these citizens, but we can't address.
Is this one of the projects that we have on our big list of projects
No.
to redo that sewer line?
No, ma'am,
No.
not yet, because it's, at this point, it's only for planning and zoning right
No, I know, but we've got this big list of projects, like Johnson Avenue and McCampbell and Stapp and all the projects. That's not one of them.
$10 million. No,
Right.
it's not on that.
Okay, that's why I was checking. Well, there you go.
now. I just want to make some clarifications on it. My name is Michael Bonner, Project Manager for Public Works. I was overlooking this before, and it actually calls for the new street A in the middle. It says for a 50-foot right-of-way with a 32-foot back-to-back curb. Our city standards are a 50-foot right-of-way should be a 34-foot back-to-back curb. So that's incorrect. So, and moving forward, I had spoken with Fernando, and our biggest issue with the area is the utilities. Obviously, it doesn't come into effect right now, but it will. We haven't seen any type of numbers or studies for the detention pond, and we are requiring all looped water lines, and that layout right there does show that possibility of some dead-end water lines. So that was an issue that we were supposed to have a meeting earlier in the week, but that was thrown out. So, but I did wanted to point out the right-of-way and the back-to-back curb is incorrect.
Plating and zoning is a land subdivision issue. Design, such as looped water lines, sewer mains, detention ponds, those are all engineering issues that if we get through this process, then the client will spend the money to do the detailed engineering necessary to answer the questions. And those engineering plans go through Fernando and go through your Public Works Department. They get approved by your Public Works Department. So, you know, you'll have assurances that your standards are going to be met. As far as the 34-32, we were informed by the city that 32 was the standard. If it's 34, it's 34. I don't have a problem with that. But that's what we were informed.
Did you say it was 32 or 50?
50-foot right of way.
It calls for a 34-foot
Okay,
back-to-back.
I got you now. Okay.
And if it's gonna be 34, it's gonna impede on the property
Size.
lot size as well.
Ah, then it's gonna make them smaller.
Any other questions? Anybody's got any questions or any?
Comments, right?
Yes, sir. Just state your name and your address for the record.
My name is William
You have 3
McGraw.
minutes.
I live in 930 West Rhodes Avenue, which is catty corner to this development. So I did receive the notice for this. And as we know, the zoning commission voted this down just last week. I stood right here and listened to them. This is a radical departure from the current zoning and infrastructure. The average lot size on Rhodes Avenue right now is 5 acres. The average lot size of this planned development plat is 0.15 acres. It's a radical departure from the neighborhood. The sewer line, there is no sewer line on roads because we have big lots, we all have septic systems. So they're gonna have to run a sewer line up roads to connect to them. And I'm not sure who's gonna pay for that, but I'd like it not to be my city tax dollars. It's gonna be a 300% increase to the population of this small neighborhood. There are only 17 homes on roads right now. Okay, we're gonna put 53 more in this 14-acre plot. And both of the roads, the proposed streets will come out on Rhodes Avenue. If you look at Rhodes Avenue in terms of traffic, the Rhodes Avenue is a de facto cul-de-sac. Now, I submitted this 2 weeks ago, and I hope that you all got to see a copy of it. Otherwise, I have copies I can give out right now. Rhodes Avenue is a de facto cul-de-sac that
Thank you.
ends on 12th Avenue and Saunders Avenue because it was never paved on either end the other way.
Oh, this is one.
I have photos to show that, you know, it's a dirt road going one way, and the other way, they've actually planted trees on, you know, so you couldn't go through there with four-wheel drive. So there is no traffic outlet on either end because on the end going towards Avenue A, the old city dump site there has an underground stream, and there's a perpetual mud hole. And even in four-wheel drive in dry weather, I've seen people get stuck. I pulled a guy out there just this summer.
Oh, I've been stuck there plenty of times when I was a teenager.
Okay, so you know where I'm talking
So that
about.
was you tearing up the neighborhood.
They do get stuck on that road because it was never developed. And in rainy weather, it's a floodplain. You know, I mean, it's water for like more than 100 yards you can see. You know, it's really, really bad. So what happens is all that traffic has to go up 12th and Saunders to get out of there, and that's the way to Walmart, that's the way to HEB, that's the way to here all the city offices, Walgreens.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I ask you to please make them do responsible development and make this R10 zoning at the very worst. Thank you.
To me, Osei, it looks like we have another possibility for another through street that the city still needs. Looks like Rhodes needs to go to 361 and Avenue A.
You're talking of connectivity?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. We can do a lot of street study and see how best we can do a connectivity study to figure out these new developments that are coming in and its impact on existing streets and how we can connect them best to let traffic flow be very efficient within the city. But I want to say that the last speaker said that this type of development should not be in the neighborhood. Can you go to the Admiral, the lower side, next one? It doesn't show. Anyway, there is a subdivision down across from Beasley.
Right.
You know that? Yeah, so within the neighborhood, there is subdivision already. So even, please let me speak. Nobody interrupted
Okay,
you.
I'm not gonna allow people from the background be talking. We'll let him talk. If y'all wanna talk, y'all wait your turn and come up here and talk.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'm saying is that there is a PD subdivision that has been developed down of Beasley.
Right.
And I don't see any reason why, if another developer comes in to put in such development, it's something new that the city has not seen before. I don't know whether that subdivision has created adverse negative impact on the subdivision ever since it was established. If that is the case, like I said earlier, the engineering department and the engineer for the project have looked at all the issues related and they are ready to resolve them. They are not overhead issues that the development itself is going to cause. What the issue the neighborhood is talking about is an existing issue. What this development is bringing is that it is not going to add on to it. It's going to contain all the issues that is going to bring by having that retention pond over there and all other sewer problems or whatever may come up. So whether the development goes on or not, the issue that the neighborhood is talking about is still going to be there.
Yeah, I know about that issue, because every time I drive through, I want to say it's Greenwood. Is it Greenwood or Nelson, the one that spews out of the manholes every time it rains?
It's both, I think.
I mean, it spews out like nobody's business.
Right. So,
And that's the problem that we have here in Aransas, is that we have the storm drain and the sewer drain tied in together.
So
and that's the big issue that we have.
Right. So what my point that I'm trying to make is that irrespective of this development, that problem is going to be there. If we take this project out, that problem is going to be there. The issue that we need to look at is that how best that we make sure this development that comes in is not going to increase or add up to. But that is what the neighborhood residents are connecting, that because of this project that is coming in, is going to increase the issue. That is inaccurate, technically. There are new developments going to come into the city.
Drainage or bad sewage flow, we don't need to add to that.
Yeah, that's common sense. More houses you plug into it, the worse the drainage is going to
Now, on the flip side of that, do we need new homes and residences? And yes, we absolutely do. So,
I don't think it'll last.
but, you know,
That problem's going to exist till we change the way this drainage works.
Yeah. So,
And the only time that's going to happen is if it rains.
right.
It ain't going to happen any other time.
Right. And it looks as if this is the second time both the planning and zoning and the commission is going to talk about rejecting a project in the city whenever the neighborhood comes against it, irrespective of what staff has done all the technical work and figured out that it's not an issue, or if any, it can be resolved. And so,
I understand why planning and zoning did it, because when you have a room full of people like this that are affected by it, it's a smart idea to listen to them.
it's not, I understand what you're saying. It's not about it being affected by them. They have consent. If you go through the whole neighborhood, everybody within a resident is going to come up with an issue that they're going to tell you anyway. So we need to look at how development can go forward and figure out how best we can resolve them. Neighborhood residents' comments and concerns are part of the decision making, but it should not override the technical review of the department's technical team. Thank you.
I think if the developer could show us, or, you know, and I know there's steps and processes. I know this is only the rezoning step, and I know in the next steps down the road, if we were to rezone this, then the next steps down the road is where the developer has to, you know, show us his engineering plans and his drainage and XYZ. I understand which step we're on.
But even with that, currently, we have looked at the technical capacity of this project and what it's going to cost. Now, all the water system that run off will be contained by the detention pond. I'm not going to say it's going to even help the surrounding neighborhood to take this detention pond. There's no detention pond in the area. How do we say, oh, this detention pond is going to help resolve some of the problem? But we are not even looking at that.
I'm not an expert on the land, but
Correct.
I do know that's the higher end of that all that property.
So that is why the engineer is there, and he's telling us that the development is not going to impact what is already existing. That is what he's saying. The development is not going to impact what is the already existing problem.
Well, unless he's going to fix the existing problem. When there's an existing problem,
yeah, so
we're not gonna.
So let's assume that the existing problem, there's no development. That's why he said he's not the one to fix the existing problem.
That's the city's.
That's the city's job. So that project going in
Right.
has nothing to do with, you know, exacerbating the problem.
Yeah, I understand what you're
Maybe,
saying.
yeah,
It
okay.
is it is the city's problem
Okay.
that we don't have the funds to fix the problem at the current time. So if the developer wanted to fix the problems, then he would be more likely to get an approval.
What I would say is that it's an option. It is an option.
Sounds like a good option to me.
Right. However, what I just don't want to establish as a fact is that
I understand completely
you
what you're
don't,
saying.
so I don't have to. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the question becomes, does this problem that is there now, is it made worse by the development? And the developer is saying that technically he can point out that that is not the case. You've not seen that yet. We've not seen that yet. That doesn't include issues such as traffic that was made earlier. That's an issue also. But is the situation in the case of drainage, is it made worse by this development? We can't be asking developers to correct problems in the city that the city is responsible for.
Well, you can
such as the
ask,
I&I.
they don't have to do it, but you can certainly ask.
Oh, you're talking citywide, probably about $30 to $50 million. And
Of course.
that's going to be a very expensive process citywide. But anyway, that's the measuring point, is the developer making it worse or not?
Well, it's obvious there's a drainage problem out there right now.
Yes,
And
there is.
it's like the old saying goes, you don't buy a saddle before you know what kind of horse you're gonna get. And it would be common sense idea to me to fix the problem before you develop out there.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Cynthia Vasquez. My residence is at 1003 Rhodes Avenue. Like the gentleman before me had mentioned, Mr. Bill, by the way, thank you for your service to our country. He actually, and I'm surprised he didn't mention it, he's got a pond in the back of his property that has grown to within 10 feet. It's grown 10 feet. It's right at his back door. And that's where some of this is draining to. Awesome that they have a retaining pond for the other side. It's just going to retain and cause mosquitoes. We're not against growth. I mean, let's get this subdivision in. But I don't think we need to put so many homes into that. That's just going to destroy an already crumbling street. You know, when we were building our home, we weren't allowed permits until I paid the $800 tap fee for sewage. I'm on a septic system still. I paid that $800 in 2015. You know, I had to pay $1,500 for them to burrow under the street to tap my water. And I've seen that they've gone through the most recent years and they've cut through the street. So increased traffic is going to, you know, already cause more damage to a crumbling street. This drainage, you know, you're going to cover more surface area with that development, especially if you crowd in 53 homes. You know, you all are all familiar with this area. You know, water's going to be an issue. Drainage is already an issue. It's going to be a bigger issue. The retention pond or the retaining pond, awesome for Beasley. Beasley has their own drainage issues. The people on Saunders had mentioned at the Plan and Zoning meeting that they had septic, you know, coming up from their sewer systems, from their connections. So once again, we're going to allow 53 homes to tap into an inundated system. It's not safe. It's not healthy, you know. And then you know, once again, going back to the drainage, you know, we've spent a few $1,000s hauling in dirt for our dirt driveway, and it gets washed away every time we have a heavy rain event. So we've invested in our 5 acres, and I'm blessed to say, you know, not everybody is able to do that. But we invested that after my husband retired after serving 24 years in the Navy. And so we're just trying to protect our investment as well as all the other people who, you know, worked really hard to get to where they're at. There's other opportunities for growth of this plan. I want you to think about that. Thank you.
My name is Jerry Wellman. I live at 1869 South Saunders. I'm not for the rezoning, and I hope you will turn it down. I will say the new housing development that went from Beasley to Mooney has pushed that water because of their slabs, their streets, into the intersection at Beasley and Saunders. And now that it rains, in that intersection, which I live on the corner, is 7 inches deep. And they've looked at barricading that street because there's no drainage there. And it is also running down and then turning and going through the Doveler lot. And that's where the drainage is going. The other thing I want to say about this number of residence starter homes on the size of an apartment. Apartments in town historically have garbage issues, police issues that manifest itself because you have so many people close together. And in 20 years or 25 years, what is this area going to look like? And you've got to look at that now, or the people that replace you will be stuck with this. And I've been here a number of times on the same issues. If you live in the city, you should have a paved street. If you live in the city, you should have drainage. Water should not stand in your yard more than 24 hours after the rain. You should have a good septic system and a sewer provided by the city, and I would hope you would approve no more septic systems in the city. And thank you very much for your time.
evening. My name's Richard Myers. I live across the street from Jerry at 1868 South Saunders. I built my house. I'm kind of ground zero for this project. My house backs up to the proposed thing. I'm pro-development. I don't live in Aransas Pass. I just own property here. We built our house. We come down here whenever we can. I drove down from Dallas this evening to be here. I'm absolutely pro-development, 100%. I'm totally against the rezoning request. R10 is plenty big enough. Bill had talked a little bit about 5-acre lot sizes, that kind of stuff. That's probably not completely indicative to the neighborhood. My lot's 17,000 square feet, something like that. That's probably a little bit closer to what the average is in there. I sent a letter last week for the planning and zoning, had some pictures attached to it. I don't know if anybody even got it, but it was here. My yard is the collection point for all the water. It gets within a couple of feet of my door now. Before the neighborhood across Beasley went in, it only got in the ditch. So taking all that impervious ground cover that 53 homes brings is only going to add to the problem. Putting a retention pond, I'm not a hydrologist, but you put a retention pond at the highest point of the property, doesn't make a whole lot of common sense to me. Once again, I was a firefighter for a living before I retired, so that's not my expertise. I just don't think it's a good idea. The sewer, that's a city problem. Please fix it. You know, I know you need money, so we need homes to be there.
30 million.
We got it. We got it. We'll have a bake sale.
That's a good starting point.
No, I understand. I mean, I worked for a municipality for 30 plus years. So I understand the growing pains and the woes. I'm not against people building houses behind my thing. I think R10 is more than sufficient. The impervious ground cover is still going to cause problems with that. And there's just no way we can do it until the city steps up and takes care of the drainage issue. So I'm pro your development. I don't believe I would love to see the engineering reports because they'll tell everything. A little, like I said, a retention pond at the highest point of the property doesn't make any sense, but that's for the engineers, not for me. I'm against the zoning proposal, so I would appreciate your vote against it. Thanks.
I'm Hope Avilon, 575 West Beasley Avenue. Like Mr. Woolman was saying, I am the drainage point for everybody. You know, I sent y'all videos of this last rain. So, I mean, I'm against the development, like he was saying, Mr. Richard was saying. I don't have a problem with development. 53 homes is my problem. How high up are these homes coming? Because nowadays, I know there's a certain point, how many feet off the road or so more. So that's going to put us where? That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jamie Price, 1843 South Saunders. This is day 4 in your city, and I have to tell you, I have to thank the local police department, actually thank the fire department on accident. Trying to get around with GPS is without GPS. There's a lot of problems here. I'd love to see the engineer report, especially for what I do, work with the contractor with the Corps of Engineers. Your detention pond, I'd love to see your reports on that. Does the public have access to that?
He's saying yes. I don't.
Okay, I'm asking.
Not yet. Yeah, I guess.
Because.
Time it's submitted, yes. The city reviews it, the city approves it, it is part of the public record.
Okay. I'm still learning here. We moved here from San Antonio. Mother half is not here tonight. 32 years retired military, and it sounds like our whole neighborhood's retired military. So, been here 4 days. The streets are huge issues. We've got full-size trucks. His dually, we can't even drive it down the street without having to go off to the side. My full-size truck, can't do it, can't pass cars. Got here right the day after the rain. Feel very sorry, especially if you're in that area, like you said. water coming up to people's doors on the corners where these people live. Oh my word. And it's insane. If we would have known some of the issues that we've seen since, again, I've only been here 4 days, he's been here 6 weeks. I don't know if I would have bought property, and now that you've got a housing, I know I wouldn't have bought our property. Please reconsider, because this is, your streets, you're gonna add 53 homes, probably 2 to 3 cars per house. You've got orange cones in the middle of some of the streets where potholes are.
That'd be
of
my
course,
street.
That's your street, okay?
That'd be mine.
And I'm sorry, I'm still learning the street names.
Johnson.
And I went down that street yesterday in the orange cone. My truck have to pull off, truck on the other side just to get around. Even small cars. And you're gonna add all these people. This is insane. I really do hope that the public can see these engineer reports, because I would love to get them to a couple of my guys and myself to look at as well.
I don't care. I don't
I think people are still talking, maybe just too long, say, or make them too much speakers.
Hi, my name is Fred Middlestead. I live at 1815 South Saunders. We moved in just a couple months before Hurricane Harvey. We were still getting settled the first time this proposal came before the Planning and Zoning Commission a few years back under Mr. Wilkie. And it was a bad idea then, it's a bad idea now. When I first looked at the proposal, my first reaction was, is this a joke, or is somebody just, pulling this out of thin air? It just defies common sense. We've talked about the sewage drainage. What direction does water flow? Well, it doesn't flow uphill, so why would we put a retention pond at the opposite end of the development? The 4 red flags that hit me right in the face as I looked at this thing. We've talked about drainage. We talked about sewage. We've talked about traffic management. We've talked about lot size. I did some research using the San Patricio County database, and I come to find out that the average lot size for virtually all of the homes on South Saunders is just under a half acre. Now we're talking about new lots that are less than half that size. So you're talking about essentially 3 homes backed up to the people who currently live on South Saunders. So now, instead of in this beautiful green belt back there with all your wildlife, you got 3 different privacy fences going up. And it's not something that, is going to make for improvement in the neighborhood. Ms. Scruggs has alluded to the traffic management problem we have. Unfortunately, you've got limited egress to that area to begin with. The bottom line is Rhodes is essentially a glorified Jeep trail when you get right down to it. No egress to Avenue A or 361, and I don't understand all the intricacies of the right-of-way for development and all that, but I can tell you right now, unless something is resolved, the plan developed to either upgrade the existing streets or put in some new ones, as it stands right now, this is essentially a lawsuit waiting to happen. And that's not intended as a threat. I'm just saying that as an observation. At one point in time, I think I had 3 different homes in San Antonio, so this ain't my first rodeo. I just hope that common sense prevails and this is voted down.
Councilman. I live on roads right next to the property. The acceleration of the roofs and the streets and the driveways with the 4-inch rain that we had this week is gonna flood the houses on Saunders. I don't know which way the drain on this new street or the other one is gonna go, but the retention pond will fill up. Where does the retention pond drain? There's no ditches. Thank you. They're gonna drain that lady's property.
My name is Rosita Gonzalez,
She's gonna be mad.
and we live right on the corner of Saunderson Road, right there where it says number 53, 52, and 51. Our property is adjacent to that. Guess what? Everything comes to our corner. And I told them the last time when my husband was younger, he can't do it now if he has to, but when he was younger in his 50s, middle 50s, we went to the city, they couldn't do a ditch and what have you, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the means, so we asked permission, can we do it? They said yes, we made a ditch on Saunders and Rhodes, and then he even built culverts. And they said it was all right, and anything that makes your property pretty, it's fine, They didn't give it in writing, but anyway, and in the past, it had solved the problem. But this last Thursday, the water got up to the ditch, went into my property, and there was water everywhere. Even on the back where the easement is, it was like a pond. And they talk about building a pond. What are they going to do on this side of Saunders and Rhodes? And he says, the engineer was saying, I don't see how the new houses can add to the problem. I do think they can add to the problem, like I think Ms. Vasquez was saying, when they build houses, they build up the land before they do the homes, and what's going to happen to us that are already down here? So I am against this building. Thank you.
Roy Vasquez, 1003 West Rhodes Avenue. When we drove down to Aransas Pass back in 2007, we were looking for some property. I wanted 5 acres minimum. We drove down roads. We got lucky, found this undeveloped 5-acre piece of land. Excellent. Bought it. 7 years later, after I retired, we started the building process. That was 2014. Started building in early 2015 with promises that a sewer line would be there within 2 years. And it was 6 years later. We still don't have a sewer line down roads. On the corner of 12th Street and Rhodes, there was a 3-acre lot there. They replatted. Each one's at least an acre. Even with them still having a whole acre of land, 12th Street now floods. Can't even see the street. But do I blame them? That's the reason it's flooding, but they did everything right. They're on a 1-acre lot. So, just saying, what do we need down Rhodes Avenue right off the bat? Drainage. Hogan Homes currently has 118 homes on Avenue A. They still got 200 more to build. I'm sure you guys have driven down Highland after a rain event. This rain event, my rain gauge said 3.5 inches. That thing, you couldn't even see the pipe because that retention pond was overflowing. Once the retention pond is full, it's like it's not there. So you keep on getting that rain, it's like it's not there. What's it going to retain? Nothing. And I took several videos over there on Highland. It's horrible. One guy's, I think he had water infiltration into his house. His whole property was underwater. That's what our properties are going to start looking at, especially those that live on Saunders. Bad idea to agree with this rezoning. In fact, I said it at the planning and zoning, they should rezone the R10 to R16. Make sure they have plenty of land for water to seep into the ground. Some cities
I've been doing a little research. I saw it on TV once. They have moratoriums. No more building until all the infrastructure gets up to par. I think that's what we need. You know? They want to build between 8th Street and Lamont. There's 8 whole city blocks. Nothing there. In the north, there's 28 city blocks. Nothing there. And these are buildable lots. And by the way, somebody's calculator is incorrect. A buildable lot is 50 by 140. That equals 7,000 square feet. Yeah, and then this 3 minutes should be increased to 5 at least.
Okay. Are y'all ready to vote or what?
Yep.
Okay, well,
Close the public hearing.
I declare this public hearing closed. And we'll go. Let me see if I'm on the right one.
Get on the right one.
Where are we?
Okay, now we're gonna go to consider and act on ordinance approval of rezoning request from R10 Single Family Dwelling District to PD Plan Development District and preliminary plat of a major subdivision by SEMA and Steve Incorporated to develop 53 single-family dwelling homes on property between Rose Avenue and West Beasley Avenue, being 9.72 acres portion of Farm Lot 2, Lot Block A, Burton and Danforth subdivision, San Patricio County, Texas, according to the map recorded in volume 152, page 1, deed records of San Patricio County, Texas, and 4.29 acres of tract 2 being Lot 1, 1R, Block 1, Mike Estes, City of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, according to the map or plat thereof, recorded in envelope 1701 234-5 of the map records of San Patricio, Texas.
I move to deny the rezoning request from R10 Single Family Dwelling District to PD Plan Development District and preliminary plat of a major subdivision by SEMA and Steve Inc. to develop 53 single-family dwelling homes on property between Rhodes Avenue and West Beasley Avenue, being 9.27 acres, portion of Farm Lot 2, Land Block A, Burton and Danforth subdivision, San Patricio County, Texas, according to the map recorded in volume 152, page 1, deed records of San Patricio County, Texas, and 4.29 acres of tract 2 being Lot 1, 1-R, Block 1, Wilkie Estates, City of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, according to the map plat thereof, record in envelope 1701 234-5 of map records of San Patricio County, Texas.
Is there a second?
Before I second it, I may talk myself out of it before I second it. We desperately need new housing in Aransas Pass. That is for sure. That's how with the city new property taxes, that's how we can afford someday down the road to improve the infrastructure. Without new rooftops, that's virtually impossible unless we get grants and other things that we've been lucky enough to
Donation.
have them do. This particular part of town lends itself to bigger lots. It's historically the larger lots in town, the larger homes in town. Putting, so what's before us now is the planned development. And I am against the planned development. I think it should stay the R10. Keep the standards of the community. So I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're gonna go to case number 21.
Yes. did you? Maybe you didn't.
I didn't say no.
I didn't think so.
I don't have to. Let's go to case number 2110-14.
Huh?
Yeah, you
Did
got a
you
vote,
agree?
Graham, just gotta be a majority.
Yeah.
I'll say no. I would like to table it and then bring it back and then think about it, talk about it again, and maybe they can make adjustments on whatever we need to do or whatnot.
Okay,
But
that's
I'm
fine. That's fine.
I'm
He
good.
said no.
We're good.
Do you want to say no or yes?
I already said it.
And you can explain as far as you wanted to come back again.
Yeah, he wants it to.
That's why I
And
explained.
address issues.
Yes, yes. Because I hate turning it down completely. I mean, I'd like to keep talking to them, and I've learned in
I
the
do
past
too.
year, and I learned here in the past month or so ago, that it's okay to keep communications with them.
Correct.
And make sure, not to have to restart the whole thing again.
Right,
But
I
it
understand.
It is what it is.
But
I'm not necessarily all good for it, but we're good.
Well, yeah, and the vote's already been cast, but yes, I would hope that the communication would continue and maybe you can revise your plan and do something else besides the smaller lots.
Okay.
So what are you
So-
saying? I'm not following.
I know, his second
No,
point.
they turned it
We've
down.
already voted.
Oh, okay.
They've already
okay.
voted.
So we had the 3/4 vote?
Yes, 1, 2,
No.
3.
It has to be unanimous.
No, it has
Gotta
to be
be
unanimous.
So,
Gotta
no.
be all four of
All
us
four of
agree,
us?
yep.
I thought
No.
No.
Because
Okay,
Jan's not here.
But what the mayor is saying is that he doesn't want to cut down this just shut it down completely. He would like to continue to address the issues that have been brought up by the residents, continue the conversation with the builder.
But to change what P and Z did.
I know.
And they denied it, it's got to be unanimous.
So-
Right.
And.
So we didn't,
But it is not, so, it is dead, is that? Am I correct on that? Because.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dead.
that's what I thought. It is dead. Okay.
It did it.
What's that? But,
It's okay.
but but please, if you would still like to be, develop in that area, we would like for you to do that without the without the plan development.
Let's go to case number 2110-14. Open a public hearing on final plat of Aransas Oaks Unit 1 planned development of a major subdivision requested by Brazelton Development to develop into 155 single-family dwelling lots of the land that is 25.965 acres comprising portion of Lot 10 and Block 5, Lots 10 and 11, Block 4, and all of Lot 11, Block 5 of the T.P. Campbell subdivision located in Aransas Pass, Texas, a map in which recorded in Volume 1, page 3 and 4 of the map records of San Patricio County, Texas.
Yes, this is a final plat of the major subdivision that they submitted last month. This is the Aransas Oaks subdivision by Brazelton Development LP. They have joined with D.R. Horton to develop 400 plus homes just below the subdivision across the 35 highway. And at this stage, because they've been approved for the major subdivision, they want to come forward with the phase 1. And I would like you to ask them when they plan to break ground for this first phase development. And the developer is here with the engineer to answer any questions that you may have for this final plat request for the unit phase 1 of the major subdivision of the Aransas Oaks development. Thank you.
Any questions?
Dan Murph, Hudson Urban Engineering. here to answer any technical questions you have. I'd ask you to bear in mind that this is a land subdivision action. It's not an engineering action. So what we're proposing before you is a subdivision of property into a subdivision, single-family residential subdivision where zoning is already established. We're compliant with the zoning. We have not surveyed the property yet. We have not done the engineering yet to design drainage systems. We do know that there is a city lift station that has the appropriate depth and capacity that we can drain the sewer to. We know that there are existing water lines in the area that traverse this property in 2 locations that we're going to loop and serve the property with water and fire protection. And all the other cases, we're in compliance with your ordinance, and we'll present to your engineering departments and your public works department all the engineering plans needed for approval. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Teresa Quintanilla. I'm at 427 Payne Avenue, and it's my first council meeting, so thank you for letting me be here. I just have a question, and I'm new to this. This is something I haven't had to do before, so forgive my ignorance or unpreparedness. But my land backs up to this planned development. I'm within the buffer zone, and I don't know if that is going to directly affect my property or not. The backside of my property is inside that buffer zone, so I don't know if that will have any effect on us.
I'm not sure what buffer zone is being referred to.
I have the map here, and it's this purple line that's around.
The notification zone. That's the.
What's your question
My question is, my home on the map, according, is halfway in between this buffer notification zone and out of it. So is that going to affect our property whatsoever? Like, I'm just, like I said, I do not know or understand what this is talking about. I just want to make sure it's not going to affect my property at 427 Payne Avenue. In any way. And also the street that I'm on, is there going to be a connecting street? I'm on Payne Avenue. Are you having plans to make a through street to that neighborhood? And so it'll stay a dead end street as it is right now? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, Council, City Manager, Chief. My name is Bart Brazelton with Brazelton Development, and I just wanted to be available to you tonight. Murph will answer the technical questions, but if there's any other questions that we could have for you, please don't hesitate to let us know. We're very excited about coming to Aransas Pass. We've been looking at the area for a very long time and feel like now is the time. We're very happy to be bringing the largest builder in the United States, and what that means to our area, to Aransas Pass, to Corpus Christi, is it will have the capacity to get homes built faster than anyone else. And that's really what we need to do to answer the concerns that we have across the area. We have a serious housing shortage, and that is one of the reasons that our company began to work with D.R. Horton over a year ago. So please, if there are any questions we can answer, please do not hesitate. I'm available for anything you have. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mark, you can stay up here for this too. Somebody had asked timing earlier, and if we get past the platting stage, the next stage or process in this process is to start the survey work. We have land clearing firm on standby and our survey crews on standby to start clearing and surveying the property. And then we start the design process of looking at the sewer and the water and the drainage and working that out. We're working with the existing property owner who has several ponds on the existing ponds on the property that we're going to utilize for drainage. So all that's getting ready to start. I would say sometime after the first of the year, maybe 1st of February, we're going to be looking at breaking ground for construction. You're probably in this first phase, you're probably looking at 9 months of construction time. a year from now, you'd probably be looking at potentially marketing homes.
That's tomorrow for a developer, by the way, a year. So we can't hurry. I was waiting to hear what my engineer was going to tell me to tell you, because I'll remember how long it will take to get construction drawings. But one of the questions that I did hear tonight, and I wanted to be sure it was answered for you, is that this is the site of the former golf course, and so there were drainage ponds built, retention ponds. I always call them retention ponds, built on site, and there's room to add on as needed. We feel pretty confident that we can answer all the concerns of all the utilities, or we would not have come here tonight. So anything you have.
Did we get an email or something that y'all have enlarged the park area? Y'all have a park area within your subdivision, and I thought I'd seen somewhere that y'all had enlarged it from previous plans.
Well, there's not an existing park out there. It's all private property now.
No, in your plan.
In our plan,
Yes.
and it's actually your ordinance that requires park dedication for a subdivision of this size. And so
Right.
we are planning on dedicating park and developing park as part of this subdivision.
Okay.
It will be expanded in Unit 1 to go from, Murph, I want to say it's probably a 3-acre site at this point to.
Yeah, the existing pond's probably 2 acres, and we've got 7 acres set aside to enlarge that pond and create park.
Okay.
And we do, it's a very nice, I always get jealous when I come to this side of the bay because you guys got all the trees and we got all the cotton. And so I love coming over here. So it's a really nice spot already. We're going to connect it with a walking trail down Robert Road. All the sidewalks to the neighborhood will feed to it. So we always like to try to have that. Walking walking past is the number one amenity being built in subdivisions across the country, not golf courses. And so we want this to look like our other neighborhoods where when you go out there in the afternoon, you have folks walking the dog and pushing the stroller and kids riding the bike. That's our goal for this neighborhood. Thank you.
I think I just had one question because I fortunately had to play hooky at that meeting, but it'd be for Michael Bonner. As far as that sewer line that runs out there, it's just something I just want to know for my own personal reference. Will that line out there be able to handle all the homes?
To my knowledge, after speaking with Fernando to reassure, the engineer design does state that the lift station will accommodate the new homes. However, approaching the final phase of it, that lift station will be maxed out. Okay. And I do know there are potential other clients building even more homes just on the other side of Southern Oaks. So now you're looking at a new development that has absolutely nowhere to go sewer-wise.
So we'll need another
So
one.
that's going to have to be a key importance in that area, is the sewer.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mike.
I could just clarify that. That other one has to build a sewer, a lift station and sewer. That is several thousand feet away from us. The capacity is there for the lift station that's on site right now.
I declare this public hearing closed. And we're gonna go to consider an act on ordinance granting approval of an application of a planned development district final plat of Aransas Oaks, Unit 1 of a major subdivision by Brazelton Development to develop 155 single-family dwelling homes as depicted in Exhibit A and B on properties being 25.965 acres of land, comprising portions of Lot 10, Block 5, Lot 10, and 11, Block 4, and all of 11, Block 5 of T.P. McCampbell subdivision, a map of which is recorded in Volume 1, pages 3 and 4 of the map records of San Patricio County, Texas.
I make a motion motion to approve the ordinance granting the approval of the application for the plant development.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the
Okay,
city.
Mayor, before you announce the items in 7.1 and 7.2, I just wanted to make you aware of a couple of corrections. On 7.1, the suit number should read 7-11-1090, and the bidder is Nathan Aaron Davis. And for 7.2, the suit number should read 7-11-1090, and the bidder is Maria O. Gonzalez.
Read it again. Okay, consider an act of resolution approving the sales property suite number S11.
S11.
Let me look at this one.
On the second page.
Let me read it out of this one. Consider an act of resolution approving tax sales property suite number S-11-1090TX account NOS 35288 and DO 11020800140000, track number 3, lot 14, block 208, town of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, located on number 11th Street. A bid offer was submitted by Nathan Aaron Davis in the amount of $500, which is 28.57 of the current value.
Mr. Mayor, Ian Barger is here, if you have any questions on any of them. That's okay with you. Steve?
Yes, sir, thank you. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you have. One thing I will note is perhaps one reason why it's only 28% is that these bids were submitted prior to the 2021 values being assessed. So when they submitted it, it's quite possible it was at 30, and then now it's lower, if that makes sense.
How long has this lot been off the tax rolls?
It's been off for a number of years. We filed the lawsuit in 2011, so it's been over a decade. And I do believe you do have a couple people here tonight who are the bidders. I'm not sure for this particular case, but they are bidders here for some of the other ones.
Yeah,
I'm actually the gentleman who bid on that one. At the point when I bid on it, it was only worth $1,400. I don't know if it went up since then, so I was just doing the 30% minimum that y'all required. I'm looking to get some property out here to build a house, and I have a very low budget, so I'm trying to stick to what's cheapest way to go about it, so I can still have a decent, nice home. You know what I mean? I like it if y'all would consider my bid. If I have to, I can go up to the 30% to meet that. I know that's y'all's minimum. I'm just trying to get a home for my family. Thank you.
Do we have city services in that area?
Are there city services there?
On North 11th? On that
I
particular?
have to visually see it. It's been a while since I've worked in the field, so. What was the address again?
It says it's just North 11th.
North 11th?
Very end of the street.
Is the very end of North 11th?
Yes.
As the unpaved road? Because I know part of North 11th is paved. Do you go
It's
past that?
really right where it starts paving, it's the next lot. It's right at the end.
Trying to see. if we got-
Yes, there are currently utilities, water and wastewater.
Okay.
I do know for a fact that it is located on, the water mains would come off of Ireland, traveling north in between the city streets. I cannot verify what size, whether they are 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, that would all have to be verified.
And it is a 50-foot by 140. 50 by 140.
You want to do the 30%? He said he'd go up to the 30. I know it's still extremely low, but it is what it is, I guess.
I have a question, Mr. Southside. When was this bid received? You said it was prior to the.
Yes, I
limit
believe the
that-
bid was received by our office prior to the new 2021 values being, they would have been that's before then, because I think September, around that time is when they switched over, maybe early October.
Well, I'm okay because it was prior to that. So I make a motion that we accept the bid.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna go to consider an act and resolution approving tax sale property suite number S-11-1090TX. Account numbers 35769 and 0010296100900. Track number 1, lot 9 in 10, block 296. Town of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, located on South 7th Street. A bid offer was submitted by Maria O. Gonzalez in the amount of $27,000, which is 68% of the current value.
Mayor, I believe Ms. Gonzalez is here tonight.
I'm Maria Gonzalez. I currently reside in Portland, and I'm looking to move back home and build a home.
All right.
Any questions?
How soon would you start building?
I actually have a contract right now with Camelot Builders, but I don't want to build on Lamont, so it kind of lays low, and I'm afraid that it's going to flood. So I started looking into another property.
Okay.
So I would have to do a switcheroo with them. I don't know how happy they'll be, but I'm already under contract.
Okay.
So this is 150 by 165. It's equivalent to 3 lots. But it's under one ID because it's struck off to the city. But there are basically 3 lots that are basically right next to each other. For any future developers who may want to build 3 homes.
I could do that too and pay it off quicker.
And it has all the services, right?
Is it located closer to Beaver?
Yes.
It is.
It's actually down the road from my parents.
Yeah, you're pretty
So
close.
it's in between the only house on the one side and Beaver?
There's a house, and if I looked it up correctly, it's a Trevino that lives there. And then there's the half an acre that's brushed, and then it's the house.
Is it this piece of acreage right
Yes. It's like right
in there?
somewhere in there, yes.
Yes, currently there is water.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we approve the sale of the property.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to consider an act and resolution approving the tax sales property suite number S-12-1045TX, account numbers 35439 and 001102360013000, lot 13, block 236, original town site addition, in addition to the city of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, which is located on number 10th Street. A bid offer was submitted by Cooper Godfish LLC in the amount of $450, which is 25.71% of current value.
For the council's information, this bid, I believe, was also submitted in April, so it would have been for the old value prior to the 2021s coming out. So it may have been 30% at the time. I don't know if the individual who submitted the bid is here or not, though.
didn't see it.
This is a 50 by 140.
I'm trying to, this is so slow. Trying to-
Well, I make a motion to approve tax sale property suit number S12-1045TX.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just wondered if there's any.
Then we're gonna go to consider an act on resolution approving tax resale property suite number S-13 S-13-1038 TX, account numbers 57365 and 0011029300300001. Track 7, Lot 30, Block 293, Town of Aransas Pass, San Patricio County, Texas, located on South 7th Street. A bid offer was submitted by Rene Hernandez Sanchez in the amount of $1,200, which is
137.
137.14% of the current value.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's not a whole lot, right?
I didn't think I was looking at that one.
God, this is so slow. I can't. Gary, can you click on those? It's having a hard time downloading those, so we can, just trying to
Is that
see
what
where
the
this
map?
is. Yeah, where it's located, and it's just.
This is the 25 by 140.
Oh, here we go.
I have hard copy if you need to look at it.
No, it eventually comes up, so it's kind of slow here.
That's it,
Yeah.
that's all I had.
It's on the next one. If you click on the next one, it actually has a map.
West Greenwood Avenue.
Second.
So this is kind of like an undeveloped area right here.
That's it, so not the agenda number, but if you click on the letter.
Yeah, we get there.
It came up, Gary, finally. Just wanted to.
You don't know if that's the right one or not.
Now, Michael, are there any kind of services on this particular?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
All services, okay. And are you the gentleman that's gonna purchase it, or?
Yeah, I'm Rene. I'm the person. I interested in that lot because I am the owner of the first lot. But the problem is that for build the home, the lot now is 50 by 140 for the end. It's 140 in the front and 50 in the end. So the home go too close to the way. So I want to buy the next one for move the home more back, you know.
Makes sense.
That is the reason.
Okay.
Well, I'll move to approve the sale of tax property.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We go to agreement for municipal services, Bay Breeze Development LP. Consider and take action on an agreement for the provision of municipal services for annexation of an area on request for the owners. Said area known as Hogan Homes or Harbor Heights, Phase 3, a portion of San Patricio County Appraisal District property ID number 1040729, with legal description being a 0.786 acre tract of being out of a part of farm lots 1, land block 75 according to the plat of T.P. McCampbell subdivision envelope 11 pages 21 and 22. Map records of San Patricio County, Texas, and being a portion of that same tract of land described by special warranty deed with vendor's lien in favor of the third party dated October 18, 2005, conveyed from Compass Bank successor trustee to Gallagher Builders Incorporated as recorded in instrument number 550057 of the real property records, San Patricio County, Texas, said agreement to become effective if the area is annexed into the city.
Yes, so this application is part of the Hogan Homes, and they are coming forward with the second entrance portion that they're going to annex. And to do that, they have to add that service agreement. So next 2 weeks, somewhere in, I guess November 1st, this annexation application is going to come forward. And so this is the service agreement to that annexation application process. So this is very particular to the second entrance showing on the site plan over there. On November 1st, the annexation application itself will come forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I make a motion to approve the agreement for the provision of municipal services for annexation of area of the Harbor Heights.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider an act and resolution opposing the creation of a hospital district at this time in San Patricio County.
Mr. Mayor and Council, let me give you some background on this and the reason this is here. As you know, and you had a presentation on the hospital district from a county commissioner, San Patricio County Commissioner. And that's before the voters right now. In fact, I think today was the first day of early voting. There was a presentation at the mayoral meeting last week, and it was pointed out that one of the area cities has rejected it as far as taking a position by the city council in that city, Portland. And the reason that they've rejected it for cost and for other reasons, such as the naming of the location will be done by interim members of that particular commission. Those are a couple of reasons it was rejected by the city of Portland. This was discussed at the mayoral meeting, and they disapproved the resolution. Other cities are considering such a resolution. One city I'm aware of, and I can't tell you the name because I don't recall the name, approved it. But I wanted to give you the opportunity, if you so wish, you don't have to take action on the position of if the city council of Aransas Pass approves the proposed hospital district or not. It's up to you if you want to take action or not, but wanted to give you that opportunity in the event that you did want to make a statement on that. The people who were at that mayoral meeting, regional mayoral meeting, I don't know if any of you have any comments also, but anyway, I want to give you that background and why that's before you.
Mayor, if I may, I have a question.
Sure.
One of those concerns that Gary brought up about the interim board, I've been at a few meetings to where Gillespie has pointed it out to people in the meetings that they're trying to get the hospital thing going. And one of the concerns that I also shared with him, and I agree with, is that the interim board should have a primary role and focus on helping establish and move forward, but not picking that location. I think to pick that location, it needs to be from an elected board, not an appointed board. And there also must be or should be a strong emphasis on mental health, which is also another component. Just offering some insight there to the council.
Yeah, I personally don't support it because this was thrown together in such a short amount of time. And the way people are gonna vote, they're just like, well, vote yes or no. They're not explaining how they're totally gonna fund this thing. They're not talking about how available staff will be for this hospital, because, I mean, anybody in this room, last time you look, every major hospital in the country is short on doctors, nurses, staff all throughout. And I think this is something that should have been drawn out over a lengthy amount of time so that they could bring to voters any possible answer that they had, because right now voters aren't getting answers on anything. So that's it.
I just think there's a lot of unknowns about this particular push. You know,
Yeah.
just a lot of unknowns. You know, they're going to tax everyone, and you know.
That's the other issue. It's a very high proposed and
Yes.
potential very high tax.
Taxes.
I want to point out that doesn't mean any councils disapproves of a hospital
Oh, no.
district.
No, no,
That's
no.
not that's not the intention. It's, you need more information is what I'm
Correct.
hearing. That's what the other city, at
Correct.
least one other city is saying also.
Right, and that's it. You know, it's just a lot of unanswered questions that we have, and I think, like you said, a hospital district is needed, but we just need more information.
I agree. I think when we were at that mayor's meeting, that there was two that had already signed.
Sinton was talking about it. That was the other one, was Sinton.
Yeah.
I know that we met with some of the.
Sinton in Portland.
Yeah, we met with some of the representatives at the TML conference.
Yeah.
Jan and I did on that.
How many, I think there was, what, 6, 7 mayors there at that meeting?
I think that's right.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I think
The
all of
majority.
us were kind of against
Yeah.
it because it was,
Well,
there's not
except
enough
Taft.
information.
Taft
It's-
had Taft agreed to it,
Yeah, but it's,
but yeah.
there's not enough known to be able to keep moving forward with a tax rate that high.
Yes, I agree.
It's extremely high. Yes, we need a hospital, just this proposal is not a good one. So. where
I
do we
make a
go back?
motion that we, act on the resolution opposing the creation of a hospital district.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to monthly municipal court report for September 2021.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Our report for this month of September, we had a slow month in so many ways. 104 cases were filed. We had 71 convictions. I magistrated 35. 13 CAPIS pro fines were issued. I signed 55 Class C misdemeanor warrants, and 8 CID warrants. We had approximately about 36 walk-ins. With this, that we're able to do teleconferences has reduced a lot of the walk-in traffic. Our traffic has picked up on by phone when people are calling to settle their cases through a teleconference or a video conference. I magistrated after hours and weekends 23, and then now we're issuing administrative warrants, and those are warrants that are being issued, that are being requested by the code enforcement officer. The court is still continuing taking payments online, and what I have found out visiting with some officers is it's been very productive going into this online system. If an individual has a warrant and is being stopped for a traffic violation, they're able to pay right there and then, take a plea, and they're able to, the officer helps them how to get the link, and they're able to pay, and that way they don't get arrested. So that is being very effective. We have also connected to the IVR where text messages are being sent out to the individuals to remind them about their court hearings. We had some problems this past week, and we had a low turnout for the walk-in docket. So we need to be on top of this and make sure that the IVR is working, because if it's not, then the court clerks are going to have to continue calling the individuals and remind them of their court hearings. We're still holding pretrials by virtual. Our prosecutor comes in and we set her up in the courtroom, and the defendants are already aware that they're going to be getting a call, and that way they can try to come to an agreement or resolution to the case with the prosecutor. We're still practicing social distancing, and we're still requiring people to wear their face coverings. We're still holding the walk-in docket on Wednesdays, along with the show cause hearings in juvenile courts on Wednesdays. This month during this period of September, I held a dangerous dog hearing. It was a contested, and our prosecutor was present. And we're also working on holding in-person bench trials and jury trials. We're working on that, and hopefully we'll get it starting next month. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to community enrichment. Consider an act on the insurance of a request for proposals for repair and gel coat slides at the aquatic center.
Mayor, City Council, as you recall, we are being required to repair our slides at the aquatic center in order to meet the inspection requirements by our insurance company. So I am requesting that we be allowed to go out for bid on that basis so that we can pass our inspection done by TML.
Okay. I think this is something that Sarah brought up at our budget hearing, that was.
Yes,
going to
it
be
is a
something that
budgeted
needed-
item.
that
Yes,
needed
ma'am.
to be-
Mhm.
Okay. I make a motion that we authorize staff to publish a RFP to repair the slides.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to monthly community enrichment report.
Okay, for the Civic Center, this past month, we hosted 2 private events, 1 luncheon, 2 public events, 1 school event, and 4 church services, and 3 training classes. We had a total attendance of about 1,720. Right now, at the Civic Center, of course, we're working on the preparations for the Fall Feast next month. And also, we are working on getting some of the kitchen equipment repaired, as well as the AC units. Early voting started this week, so we're working with them in order to have that going on until Election Day next week. At the Aquatic Center, we did continue operating until September 30th. We were doing the closed lap swimming and the water aerobics classes, and those have now stopped as of the end of September. Right now, as we just discussed, we're going to be working on this, getting our slides repaired and gel coated. And we have also been looking into some new scheduling software for greater event organization and revenue accountability. The library, it continues to be open from 8:30 to 5, and they are still offering curbside services for anyone that wants it. Computers are available, and they're also providing print services, online accounts. The Overdrive is still available for all patrons. Total checkouts for September were 804. Internet and Wi-Fi usage was 366. Library visits were 1,466. Overdrive checkouts 158, and story time 459. Does anybody have any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go to Development Services, which is the monthly Public Works report for September.
Okay, so y'all should already have the departmental breakdowns in between water, wastewater, sewer, drainage, street department. So if y'all have any questions on that, I can do my best. If y'all don't have any questions, I will move on to the project updates. It's been a very eventful several recent months. I would like to announce that the wastewater treatment plant electrical, the SCADA project, and the Waring and Wheeler sewer projects are all completed. So they are just pending final walkthroughs, closing documents, and we will be closing those out. In return of closing 3 projects, we are going out for bid this week for 3 more projects. So we get rid of 3, we bring back 3 in. Those 3 projects are going to be the storm pump stations, number 1, which is Maddox, number 2, which is on Goodnight, and the other one is going to be the Greenwood, Saunders, and DeBerry storm project. So those are all out for bid this week. So we look forward to getting those started and getting those rolling and getting more infrastructure fixed. I'd like to shortly touch base on the digester project. They are currently setting at about halfway point on cleaning out the existing digester at the wastewater treatment plant. In the past few weeks, obviously, due to rain, the hauling service that we are using cannot haul it because they have no dry place to put it. So, however, it is still moving forward. Moving on to the Colonia grant projects, we are moving forward on that one. We're also, the staff has marked locations for wood post and will begin installation of the week of October 18th, which is this week, for the Newberry Park fencing. So that should be pretty exciting to see that in the center of town. The last one I really want to touch base on is the wastewater treatment plant bar screen and RAS pump. This came up just a few weeks ago. The wastewater treatment plant has a bar screen that screens out, as its name says, all the rags and unmentionables that come through our wastewater collection system. And it is on an automatic system that cleans itself throughout the day. That completely failed and was incapacitated. So what the crew is currently doing right now, they are working through shifts throughout the week to go out there and manually use a steel rake and rake out all of the stuff around the clock. So I'd like to give them a pretty big shout out for the many hours that they're putting in. As far as the bar screen, the parts have been ordered. We are waiting on an extensive lead time for that equipment to come in. And then with all else fails, when one thing happens and something else happens again, the RAS pumps, which is a return activated sludge pump that returns the waste off of clarifiers back into the headworks, and it just kind of does this dancing cycle. Those also failed amongst all things as well. So again, they've been working, running pumps, keeping the plant running, making sure people are still flushing their toilets. But one pump has already been repaired. We are waiting for it to come in. And then the second pump has been purchased. We're just waiting for those to come in. So a lot of headache out at the wastewater treatment plant, but the crew is keeping it together and making sure everybody can still flush their toilets. So, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but does the contractor happen to have a timeline on the McCampbell and Stapp project?
So right now there was a hang up on the original plan of the project. Unfortunately, it is encountering private property. We are going through the motions of a right-of-way acquisition. We have already had the landowner sign the papers. It is now in the contractor's hands of getting the surveys done. As far as I know, all the surveys are complete, so we're just waiting for the final plans to come in from the engineering company, and we shall move forward. I heard as early as next week, but don't hold me to that word.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Bless you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The building department's report, we're still growing. We had 92 permits, 2 of which were commercial builds, and we've got 22 new homes, 3 demos. So that's just kind of roughing it out for you. We have Tim's In and Out up here on Wheeler. They're getting ready to replace their underground fuel tanks. And we have a new, I think it's check-in and out or something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we've got a new convenience store, gas station, and car wash that's getting ready to get started on Wheeler. And you've probably seen it where they've been clearing it, and they've got a dozer that's buried, so.
Oh, I saw that. It's almost laying on its side.
Yeah. So, and of course, we've got the new subdivision that I'm just itching to get that going. So we need heads and beds. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Now go to finance, to the monthly finance report.
Sandra, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So you can see on my screen right now, the graph for the revenues, versus the budgeted for the month. You can see where in some funds we did exceed, budgeted revenues, and in some funds we did not. Then my next slide is gonna be the expenditures, versus, budgeted versus actual. And unfortunately, on some of these, we did exceed, what we had budgeted for expenditures. Year to, however, for the month of August, revenues exceed expenditures by $1.3 million combined. I mean, all of these funds, even though on the months that expenditures exceed revenues, year to date, we are in the black, where revenues do exceed expenditures.
Good. Very good.
The next slide that you're gonna see is property tax collected year to date for the month of August. We're at $5.3 million. The following slide is the sales tax collected. And you can see the numbers before Harvey and where we are. We've been able to maintain those sales tax revenues steady. We collected year to date $2.4 million compared to $1.8 million in 2017 and $2.3 million in 2018, and those are after Harvey numbers. So our numbers have grown even more after the storm. This is where your sales tax dollars go. The city collects 1 cent, half a cent goes to the MDD board, and the other half goes to the crime control and prevention district. Now for our water utility customers, here you can see the water utility customers for 2017 was at 3,957, and for 2021 we're at 4,501. And that is my report, council, for tonight. Do you have any questions on this?
No. No, thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
They said no, Sandra.
Okay, yes, I heard. Do you want to move on to the other item?
Yes.
Yes.
Fourth quarter fiscal year 2020 to 2021 investment report.
Okay, this is our investment report as of September 30th, 2021. We had 23% of our money at Prosperity Bank, 37% of our funds were at taxable, and 40% of our funds were at taxable class. We had an average of $8.6 million per return on our investment was 0.010%. The benchmark on the 3-month T-bill is 0.05%. So we did surpass the benchmark for the quarter, but interests are still low. And that is my report for the quarterly investment report. Do you all have any questions?
No.
No.
Okay, now we're gonna go to public safety, which is considered an act of ordinance amending chapter 28, traffic section 28-51, no parking during certain hours by removing the parking restriction along the 800 and 900 blocks of West Goodnight between 8th Street and 10th Street and provided an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just a cleanup of one of our ordinances in the area around the new Falk Elementary School. We're just trying to control some of the heavy inflow of traffic, parents picking their kids up, dropping them off. And in order to do this, the school, working with Assistant Chief Pierce, who's the assigned command staffer to that campus, is recommending that we remove the no parking shall be permitted in the 800 and 900 blocks of West Goodnight Street between 8th Street and 10th Street for the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Roxanne's already put this in ordinance format for y'all. If you do approve and agree with staff on this item, then we will formalize the temporary removal of that section into code. We temporarily did remove it to alleviate some of the problems that we've been having. This just codifies it.
I make a motion that we change the ordinance or amend the ordinance, chapter 28, traffic section 2851, no parking during certain hours by removing the parking restriction along the 800 and 900 blocks of West Goodnight.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to the monthly public safety report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I hope that mine is just as exciting as the previous directors. We have eradicated all crime in Aransas Pass.
Very good.
But it's not, I'm sorry. Just to give you some updates there, we did have the officer that got struck by a drunk driver on Huff Street. You might have seen the crash unit out back. It has been totaled. The officer now is back to work. She did have some extended injury, but has since recovered and is doing well. If you saw the news, we actually lost an officer, just not us, but across the nation, to another drunk driver, so it can be a very serious situation. We did hire an officer. I was going to introduce him to you tonight, but I'll bring him back to you the next council meeting at the front of the meeting. He comes from Bexar County. He was working for Bexar County. He has a house here in Aransas Pass and wanted to be on the water so he can fish on his days off, so we made his dream come true and brought him aboard. We do have one remaining opening in patrol. And we also had a situation where the officers had to stop a fleeing motorist who was involved in theft crimes. They used the pit maneuver and struck the vehicle off the road. No standing damage to the officer's car, but there was damage to the violator's car, which he'll be responsible for. Animal Services, we do have the remodel that's underway. If you guys have seen out there, they're working on the roof and some of the expansion. This is a Crime Control and Prevention District funded remodel. Our capacity at the shelter does remain at full capacity. We also trained over 67 law enforcement officers of the new laws affecting policing and Texans. Dispatch is fully staffed. I had her here to introduce to you tonight as well. She is a resident of Aransas Pass, and we're very excited to see how she does coming through training. And I don't know if I told you this or not, but we do have a resident that's wanting to donate her house to the police department. She had a husband who was ailing, and the officers, without question, would respond to the needs of that couple by helping getting him up out of bed, getting him into wherever. If he fell down, they would help. She was not able to. She's well pleased, and as part of her appreciation, she plans to donate her house to the city police department when she passes. So I think that's good news to share with you all there. You have the investigator's report there. I no longer try to summarize that because there's just too much going on. I think that the captain's report needs to be read by y'all thoroughly. And also you have our monthly surveys when we randomly pick events and we follow up with folks just to see where we are falling short so we can work towards improving those areas. That's pretty much all I got for you, council, unless you have any questions or comments. And this report is published online now, so the public can read it in its entirety.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Now to the monthly fire department report.
All right, more fun stuff. I'll make mine quick. We ran 61 calls month September. We stay around that 50% on the rescue and emergency stuff. That's still staying the same. Although the trend, as I've been telling you for every year that I've been here, we are looking at, we're going to be making more calls this year than we did last year again. And last year was a record-setting year for us. So those calls are continuously going up. And we really do appreciate that new firefighter that was budgeted for us. We've got that process in the works right now. So if you guys know any firefighters looking for a job, send them our way. I did have first time since I first took over. So I guess it's been about 2.5 years. I had a firefighter go ahead and put his 2 weeks notice in. So I'll be actually hiring 2 guys. He just wants to go back home and be close to mom and dad, and I think his folks are getting older and stuff. In training, we put in over 122 hours. In this training, the 122 hours is the training that they put in-house. So when they're on duty, they put in 122 hours altogether. This doesn't include all the other classes that the city has taken care of and really progressed our firefighters' level of knowledge by quite a bit. The guys are really doing well in their classes. And we did a total of 15 inspections. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to city council staff announcements.
Mr. Mayor and Council, there is a work session scheduled for the 25th, as we said, as we mentioned earlier. And you can see before you the topics we have as of this moment. That's somewhat fluid, as is always the case. That can change. We can add to it, or we can take away from it. In the case of panhandling, we were talking earlier today, may be a need for a closed session to talk with you about that. That's not determined for certain, but looking at that as a possibility. And you can see what the other items are for discussion on the 25th, including a report from Vicki and Jan, who went to the TML conference, and the vast amount of information that they picked up and will pass on to you. And you can see what the other items are. Important item is closed session on, I'm sorry, a workshop session on October 25th. Several items at this moment.
And may I say something? I just want to thank the police chief's department. Met with Officer McCarty and Fire Chief Kelly on October the 6th for about 3 to 4 hours about marine enforcement, boating safety, equipment, and we did that all in the auspice of creating complaints and citations to be processed through municipal court. One of the things I want to compliment is the passion and drive that Officer McCarty expressed for becoming the new harbor master and being able to enforce safety. It was so refreshing to actually see someone so excited about their position, and so thank you for that time. I really learned a lot from you, and I hope that one day I can actually take a boater certification class so I can be certified myself. Chief Kelly drove us around in the police boat so that we could talk about different markers and locations on when the citations would be issued, where those would be, so I'd have an understanding as a prosecutor on how to proceed forward. He is an excellent driver, except for that one person he hit on the way. He's pretty phenomenal boater. I mean, I'm not quite sure. There's nothing he does is not phenomenal, but did I say that right? Was very good and made me feel so much safer than I ever did with Harbor Master Chuck. So thank you for keeping us safe. It's clear to me that their passion and their drive for their work is included from their leader. So thank you, Chief, so very much for allowing your officers the opportunity to teach me. I'm grateful for that.
Good. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Roxanne.
Now we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Good evening. My name is Laura Donahue, 110 Gillespie Lane. So here today I'm here to talk about Gillespie Lane. I know you guys know that it is probably the worst road in town. There are holes in it that my granddaughter can lay in, and you wouldn't even see her driving down the road. I've got a 98-year-old neighbor. She likes to walk her dog 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, but she says she's worried because the holes are so big that she's going to lose her balance and fall. I have emailed streets and drainage numerous times about this. I was told that they could probably do something about drainage, but to get the street fixed, I'd have to come here. That's why I'm here today. The drainage, it starts down on Demery, so I'm close to the Wheeler side. That part of the road isn't bad, but it drains all the way down to Wheeler, and that's where the road gets really bad. There's a little ditch by the lift station, but that's really all there is. The coastal cottages across the street, they're built up, so everything goes into my neighbor Lucy's yard and my yard, swirls around, goes back down to Wheeler. So what I would like to see is the road completely tore up, repaved, and speed bumps, because it is a 15-mile-an-hour road. But you've got people, I swear, no exaggeration, they're going 40 and 50 down this road. I've got security cameras set out, and I've watched them. I mean, you can see the footage of how fast they're going down the road. It's ridiculous. With it being that close to the school, it should be marked as a school zone. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like it should be. And I know that you guys said that money is an issue, but if you set up an officer on both ends of the street, I guarantee you're going to get 5 speeding tickets a day of 5 to 10 miles over. So I would like to see that put on the agenda for next time you have a meeting. And I'll be at that one too. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Alan Myers. My permanent address is Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm a part-year resident down here. I'm a part-time employee of the Handsome Sailor Yacht Company. I work at the marina. Just wanted to briefly say a few things about Captain Tom and Linda Duran. And I first met Captain Tom, as many people do. I took a yacht charter with his boat. I have since then acquired a boat that I bought from him. I have it berthed down there at the marina. There's another boat came along that I told him I had dreamed about owning, but it was way out of my price league, and through his foundation that he's formed, he actually made a deal with me through the foundation. Don't need to go into details of that. I can tell you if you want to later, but time is of the essence. But I was able to acquire a boat that otherwise I would not be able to do. And I do work out there. I see a lot of people that would drive straight through Aransas Pass on their way to Port Aransas that otherwise do come and stay here to take a charter with him. There are not everyone like myself are local residents that have boats out there, so you have income coming in from other areas around the country. There's one fellow actually as far away as Wyoming is out there. Yeah, but I appreciate the work that Captain Tom has done. He's enhanced my life. This marina has enhanced my life. I'm semi-retired, and so I get to spend a large portion of my year down here working on a boat. I help him rehab boats. We've got a couple of old derelict boats that were Hurricane Harvey survivors that we have rebuilt and put back into service rather than them going into the junkyard. Part of his foundation is actually along that line, wants to recycle boats to keep them from being scrapped out, and he also intends to help underprivileged children learn about sailing and recycling and doing boat mechanics and these things. And I'm looking forward to helping him in that endeavor in any way I can, and just want to say he's been an asset to me and my family. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Todd Cassens. I have a house at 1169 South Rife Street. My wife and I are in the process of having it become a short-term rental through Verbo. But we've lived here 6 years, I've retired. We both retired right before COVID, and so we spent the last 2 years living here. 6 years ago, after we had just bought the house, I was driving all around the town, and at Cotton Brown Harbor, I saw Handsome Sailor Marina and Event Center. And so I stopped just to see what it was, and I met Tom Duran, and we immediately hit it off, ended up playing guitar together that night, and afterwards have played music on a pretty regular basis for the past 6 years. And I've really enjoyed it. We've also, I'm an actor and musician from Austin, Texas. And he has started his own film company, Handsome Sailor Film Works, and we have a short film coming out, premiering in Corpus at the Alamo November 14th. So I found Tom to be a man of immense imagination and far-reaching projects that he accomplishes. As one person said, the band leader of Ingleside High School, actually, Tom will set his sights on something that just seems impossible, but he will get it done. And that's what the Tiki Bar, before Hurricane Harvey, before a fire destroyed it in 2017, that was just an amazing place for friends to gather and share music, share good times, charter boats. It was a wonderful spot. And we really miss it. He's been in the process of rebuilding it, of building it back, even through Harvey and COVID. His perseverance is just so commendable, and I just wanted to say a few good words about him. He's a good friend. I really cherish him, and I hope that Handsome Sailor Marina remains. Thank you.
How do I follow that, man? I'm Tom Duran. I own Handsome Sailor Yacht Charters, and I know most everybody in this room, except for this gentleman right here, on a first-name basis. I've been a professional sailor for 40 years. I started my company in Galveston, Texas, many, many years ago when I was 27 years old. I'm a 1975 graduate of Texas A&M. Hope there's some Aggies in the room here. And we've had a lot of hard times because we had a catastrophic fire in 2017. Many of y'all remember there, Ms. Abrego was there in the closed meeting about talking about the damages we sustained. 6 months later, we had Hurricane Harvey, which destroyed the marina, sank 3 boats, destroyed my personal home. And after that, we began to build back almost immediately. And then COVID-19 occurred. Everybody has suffered from COVID-19, but so have we. For 6 months, we couldn't go down there and do anything. It was locked down. One of the things I've done is that, Handsome Sailor is so much more than just Handsome Sailor Yacht Charters now, guys. It is 4 different things. It's Handsome Sailor Yacht Charters Incorporated, which has been in business for 40 years. It's the Handsome Sailor Marina, which is still extant. We're currently rebuilding it. There's been some kind of a small misunderstanding about some timing, which is going to be discussed tonight in private. We have the Handsome Sailor Foundation, which is a 501c3 charitable organization. You heard that gentleman tell you about what we've done for him and what we've done for the latchkey kids here. We used to have the Aransas past children, youth at risk, and we used to do 120 kids in one day. We take them out on the boat, and I had a girl come up to me that just graduated from Texas A&M 2 years ago, and she said, "I'll never forget when I was in the 7th grade, I went out with you on that boat, and I found it inspiring for you to have gotten and given me that opportunity." And then the last thing, of course, is Handsome Sailor Film Works on November the 14th at the Alamo Draft House in Corpus Christi, Texas. Out of 50 films that were submitted, I was one of 30 films I wrote, directed, acted in. He acted in it right there. Mr. Cassin's right there. It's been accepted by the Corpus Christi CC7 Film Festival, which is a great honor. Now, what I'm here also to show you guys, one last thing, the Dog and Pony Show. Might as well make it a little bit entertaining here tonight. Everybody else has been talking about sewerage problems, and that's, I guess, entertaining. Is that when we had the Mardi Gras parade over in Port Aransas, I'm a member of both the Chamber of Commerce here in Aransas Pass and the Port Aransas Chamber of Commerce. We had a float, and most people have never seen this picture right here. And this is me right here on the top of that boat. You see 40 years on it right there. You see 40 years. My business has been in business for 40 years, and we put down roots in Aransas Pass. Again, we have been committed to Aransas Pass in a big way. That's me, man. Hey, there I am. I'm playing that guitar, doing some good rock and roll, with a little old lady rocking out right there. That's what Aransas Pass is all about, guys. We want to get people down here to not just drive across that causeway and go to Port Aransas. We don't want them just to go to Rockport. We want them to stop right here. Okay? That's what we want to do. That's what I want to do. I've made a full and absolute commitment to this community and everything, and there seems to have been some sort of a misunderstanding. We can give the letter that we wrote to the city over a year and a half ago that indicated.
Mayor, we're in a closed session stuff. We're in a closed session stuff now.
And that's going to be discussed in closed session. Okay, that's fine. But we did that, and I've got a copy of the letter for everybody on the city council here. I've also retained a professional business consultant, that gentleman right back over there. We're here, I know, I'm just about done, but we're here to help you. We're committed, and I need your help. Thank you very much.
Mayor, City Council, my name is Marsha Wellman. I live at 1869 South Saunders. I'm here as the president of the Women's Monday Club of Corpus Christi and the Coastal Bend. We are the oldest club, GFWC club in the state of Texas, 126 years old. Most of the members now live on this side of the bridge, and this year it is our honor to be the sponsor for Wreaths Across America. We are the location coordinators for Prairie View Cemetery. That will happen on December the 18th. We're looking for volunteers to come out and put wreaths on the grave sites. We hope to have covered all 337 vets that are in that cemetery this year. Don't know if we'll get there, but we're working on it. And we just wanted to inform you about what we're doing. Thank you very much.
Do you, Marcia, do you have this on PDF or something to email it?
Yes, and everybody has a little
barcode, you can scan your phone, and it talks all about it.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, then we're gonna go into executive se- Sure.
Mary Gunn, 501 West Wheeler. I just want to bring back up to the attention so that these properties are not forgotten. At the end of West Wheeler, all 4 of those properties are falling apart. Doors are wide open, windows are open. Those people coming from down by the water that live in the little trailers or wherever they stay, sleep on the benches, they're making their way into these abandoned buildings. The old glass shop that's pretty much just metal surrounding it now, people are dumping furniture in it. I let Corey know right after I first saw it, but if it's starting now, it's just going to start to accumulate when they see that nobody's paying any attention to it. And again, it's all 4 of those properties right there on West Wheeler. I know that y'all have said that the people are overseas, but if we can put a note on their door saying, hey, we're serving you a warrant because we had to cut your grass, then we can be able to do something, at least board up the windows and doors so that people can't, because now that it's getting colder, guess what's going to start happening? They're going to start going in there for the warmth or the walls to keep them warmer from being out in the wind. I mean, I only live a couple blocks from that, but I see it every time I gotta go down to HEB, or if Hunter and Tom take a bike ride down to the harbor, Hunter's gotta go past that. My youngest is only 13, and like any other mom, he's my pride and joy. And I'm telling you, something happens because one of these idiots that are back and forth and don't know how to behave themselves does something, Eric's gonna come hauling me off. So somebody come get me. But, you know, like I said, I know that it'll look close, but it's close enough that I can still see it. I see the people that come and go from that way. It has been less, but there's always that off chance that the one that comes through is going to have something in his system and he's just not going to care. So, thanks.
Thank you.
I guess we now will go into executive session, section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter which the duty of the attorney to city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to Handsome Sailor Yacht Charters Incorporated.